let me just set the stage for you. The Dallas Cowboys just went 12-5. They made it to the playoffs. What is your initial reaction? To me, if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be like, God damn it. I would actually be so mad. You want to know why? Because going to the playoffs as the Cowboys is going to be one of the worst things to happen to that franchise. Why do I say that? As we know, the Cowboys are a historic franchise, and even back in the 90s, they were one of the absolute dynasties of the entire league, right? Now, they're probably one of the most clown franchises. They're one of the most hated and loved at the same time. There's delusional fans everywhere, and there's everybody who knows that Jerry Jones is a fucking dumbass. So why does making the playoffs mean disaster? Well, let me put it into this perspective. The Cowboys have not drafted well in so many years. And let's name off the few drafts that they actually got right. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. Those two were mid-picks, right? 12, 14, pick a number, right? The other picks like Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, Deron Bland, those were lucky picks. Like, that was 4th round, 5th round picks. I don't know what round Zeke got picked, but, he was good for 2 years. So again, that begs the question, why does it mean that it's a disaster? Well, when you have people demanding money, like CeeDee Lamb, who got $34 million a year, Dak, who's making $60 a year, and then you got Micah Parsons, who still needs a contract, who's going to be requesting $40 million a year. If you do well and you make it to the playoffs, you can only assume that those people are going to be doing well as well, and you can only assume that they're going to want top-end money, especially Micah Parsons, and especially Deron Bland gets back to his healthy self, and he does the same thing that he did, back in 2024 or 2023, having the most pick sixes in a season. He's going to want insane money. You're probably going to draft another tackle in this year's draft because Ashton Jeanty is going to be grabbed before you get before he drops to 12, or even if you trade up to 10, 9, 8, I still think he's going to be picked up before that. You have cap problems. You have mediocrity problems, because one of the worst things to do in the NFL is be, between 8 and 10 wins, 8 and 12 wins. You don't want to be fringe playoff contenders, and that's all the Cowboys have been. So if you're a Cowboys fan and you make it to the playoffs, and you have the same thing that happens every single year where you might win the first game, and if you don't win the first game, you get booted first round of the playoffs, you're like, oh, we're right there, we can make it. No. At the end of the day, no matter what, you're still going to have issues with the cap. You're still going to have issues drafting in the middle of the round drafts, right? And you're still going to have issues as long as Jerry Jones is your owner, GM, president, moneymaker, whatever, everybody, everything, all at once. So if I, like I said, was a Dallas fan and I made it to the playoffs and I went 12-5, right? Even in division with the Commanders, with the Eagles, and I went 12-5 and I made it to the playoffs, I would literally think of the worst. I would not like it. That's my 2 cents.